Barcelona were starting with a short pass from the goal kick, Valladolid were defending deep in the first phase, so Barca were moving east with the ball in the first phase. In open play, Valladolid were defending in 4-4-1-1 formation. Valladolid's frontman was central and he was 2 versus 1 down in front of the Barca centre-backs. Barca centre-backs were driving easily with the ball as the frontman was 2v1. Barca were using sole pivot and he was under pressure from the central midfielder and Barca was unable to build the game centrally. While its left wide midfielder was ready to press Barca centre-backs to stop Barca centre-backs with the ball progress, with the left wide midfielder joining the front man, Valladolid were making 2 versus 2 situation in front of the Barca centre-backs. Wiley's left-hand side was getting unbalanced due to high press of Wiley's left wide midfielder. Barca offensive midfielder Xavi was marked from the center midfielder, so if the center midfielder commits to Barca's right back, Xavi will find a space in the half space. So Wiley's center midfielder was not drifting wide to close down the right back, so when Wiley's left wide midfielder was pressing high, the right back Kunde was getting space on the left-hand side. Now Wiley's left wide midfielder was out of position, so Barca had number advantage on the left hand side. So Wiley were 3 versus 2 down on the left hand side. Now in transition, winger Rafinha was dragging left back and Kunde was dragging another midfielder. So Gavi had space between centre back and full back and then carrying the ball till the byline and he was making cutback. In open play, Barca's centre-backs were able to drive the ball with ease as while its front man was central. Barca's offensive midfielders were moving high and they were dragging the centre midfielders, so Barca's centre-backs could easily carry the ball to middle third. While its wide midfielders were wide and they were marking the fullbacks, so there was a space for Barca centre-backs. Barcelona had a different mechanism in the final third. In the final third, Barca's right winger Rafinha was wide on the flank and the left winger was in the half space zone. And Barca's right back position was deep and the left back position was wide. So in this way, Barca were attacking with front six. Both Barca's offensive midfielders were moving in the half space and they were dragging the center midfielder. So Valladolid were defending with a back six because of Valladolid two midfielders were joining the back line. Valladolid were trying to make 2 versus 2 situation in front of the centre backs in open play, so Valladolid were pushing the midfielder forward from midfield. Barca's offensive midfielder were drifting narrow and Lewandowski was stopping in. Because Valladolid's wide midfielder were too wide, Barca were centrally making 3 versus 2 or 3 versus 1 situation. And when the transition happened, Gavi was ready to run out and he was dragging the left back, so Barca's right winger was free on the flank. In the final third, Barca's offensive midfielder and winger were operating in the half space. Due to the winger and midfielder operating in the half space, Valladolid were forced to narrow defending. Due to Valladolid's narrow defending, Barca were getting space on the flanks and Barca centre-backs were switching the ball. In the first phase, Valladolid were building the game in traditionally back four. The centre-backs of Valladolid were split deep and wide and the full-backs were providing width by staying wide. Valladolid were using sole pivot and he was being caught by Pedri, so Valladolid were forced to build the game from wide. When the fullback had the ball, the winger was pressing the fullback and Busquets was pressing the center midfielder, so the fullback was attempting long balls as he did not have passing option.